The shooter in that incident in that Wisconsin gurdwara has finally been identified. The motive is still unclear, but the shooting suspect has been identified. The US gunman has been identified as Wade Michael Page. That's his name. Wade Michael Page is the name of that 40-year-old bald white gunman who was shot dead by the police in that hectic encounter in Oak Creek, Wisconsin yesterday, in that encounter at the Gurdwara. My colleague Padmaja Joshi has the details of this identification. Padmaja, it's been almost 24 hours since we got any details about what really happened. Things are still pretty sketchy about what really happened, but finally the police and the FBI have released the name of this man, Wade Michael Page.
In fact, what we are learning is that he was at one time attached to the Fort Bragg Army installation in North Carolina, Shiv, and remember, he shot dead 6 people and wounded 3 at that Gurdwara in Milwaukee. He was an Army veteran and might have been a white supremacist. That's what the law enforcement agencies are saying. As of now, he was with the Army, but in '98, he had a less than honorable discharge from the Army. In fact, the spokesperson for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms said that the gunman had a military background, but he's not really elaborated on that one thing that a lot of eyewitnesses are saying, that he had a 9/11 tattoo on his arm, which is why there are also some reports that maybe this was a case of misdirected anger after the 9/11 attack in the US. In fact, some foreign news agencies are saying that this man who was killed outside the Gurdwara in a shootout had been enlisted in April 1992 and was given a less than honorable discharge in October 1998. He had served at Fort Bliss in Texas in the Psychological Operations Unit in 1994, and like I mentioned earlier, he was last stationed at Fort Bragg in North Carolina, again attached to the Psychological Operations Unit. The details of his discharge are not immediately clear. Sure. Yeah,
all right. Yeah. Well, obviously, Padmaja, the police and the FBI will be drawing a very careful and detailed character profile of Wade Michael Page. But are they reasonably sure at this stage, Padmaja, that this was in fact a hate crime?
They are not willing to elaborate on any of that because remember, this is an extremely sensitive situation. There are sensitivities, religious sensitivities involved. India has already expressed its outrage about how religious freedoms of the Sikhs are being attacked in the US, which is why they have not attributed any motive. That's why they're also not willing to confirm whether he did indeed have those 9/11 tattoos on his hand. But it has been confirmed now that he was an Army veteran and he had been enlisted in the Army 2 decades ago, and that he had a less than honorable discharge just 6 weeks later. This man who had multiple postings, he was with the Psychological Operations Unit. Shiv.
All right, Padmaja, thanks for getting us those details. Wade Michael Page, that's the name. Finally, we have a name of the man who wielded that gun and murdered 6 people at the Oak Creek Gurdwara outside Milwaukee in Wisconsin. Like my colleague Padmaja was just telling us, an Army soldier. He was deployed in a Psychological Operations Unit. He enlisted in 1992 and he was discharged dishonorably in 1998. No word just yet what the circumstances are in which he was discharged dishonorably. It could be pretty interesting if it has anything to do with his character profile and what really compelled him to actually mount this horrific massacre at this place of worship in the United States late yesterday India time. The Oak Creek police are still investigating. Remember, Wade Michael Page was gunned down after he managed to kill 6 people and injured 3, including a policeman who was the person firing at him and who actually finally managed to take him down. That police officer is of course being treated in a hospital at this time. Wade Michael Page is the name of the shooter. Finally we have a name. It's Wade Michael Page.